We always have great pleasure in welcoming Dominic Dunn to Larry King Live. His most recent book is Justice, Crimes, Trials, and Punishment, now out in trade paperback. There you see its cover. He's, of course, the special correspondent for Vanity Fair. His monthly diary for the magazine is in its second year. And he's going to host a new series on Court TV starting in June. Dominic Dunn's Power, Privilege, and Justice. He is currently on top of covering the Martha Moxley murder case, the case in which the defendant is the Kennedy cousin, Michael Skakel. Why does this case so fascinate you?
Well, it's fascinated me from the very beginning, Larry. I mean, I think I had a lot to do with the reopening of this long dormant case. When I was at the William Kennedy Smith trial in Palm Beach, there was this rumor that he had been in the Skakel house on October 30th, 1975. So I went back to check it out, and it turned out not to be true. He wasn't there, but I got interested in that story and whatever happened and so forth. And the family moved away, the father died, and I tracked the Mrs. Moxley down in Annapolis, Maryland. I met her in a coffee shop of the Baltimore Washington airport. And I said, "What'd you move away for? There's nobody, you know," and this was in 1991. And the murder had happened in 1975. And so I asked her what she would think if I wrote a novel based on her daughter's murder and on a family like the Skakel family, a rich Catholic family. And I wrote a novel. It became a bestseller, and it reopened. I mean, it put the spotlight back on that case.
Yeah, and then Mark Furman wrote a book about it too, right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what happened first.
First, we ought to say that you have feelings in this case, in which this show always tries to be balanced. You believe that Skakel is guilty as charged, right?
Yeah, I always have feelings.
You always do, and so we're basing this on feeling. You haven't heard the whole trial yet. I know you try to be open, but basically we know that's where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's
right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's absolutely right. But
the Furman book.
Well, the Furman. Well, first, Rushton Skakel hired a private detective agency called the Sutton Agency that worked for 3 years on the case, trying to deflect the suspicion of the certain members of the Skakel family. And they ran up a bill of $750,000, and the report pointed to Michael Skakel. Heretofore, his brother Tommy had been the main suspect. And so this report was, they'd all signed confidentiality oaths. This report was put in the back of a file. But a kid whom they had hired to put all these reports together for Mr. Skakel, they'd forgotten to ask him to sign the confidentiality oath. He had written the scenario, and he stole it, and he brought it to me, and that's when I got Mark Furman to come into the case, and I gave him the Sutton report, and he went from there. And
Furman shares your beliefs, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me a brief history of who this girl was who was killed and why she was killed. What's the prosecution's motive concept?
Well, I mean, she was 15 years old. She was a newcomer in Greenwich. Now, Greenwich is a very swanky place, full of very, very rich people. And the Moxley family, who had been there about a year, and whereas the Skakel family, I think they were in their third generation of being in Greenwich. And for people who don't know, the Skakel family is enormously rich, and they are related by marriage to Ethel Kennedy. Mrs. Robert Kennedy was Ethel Skakel, and it just happened that I went to Ethel Skakel's wedding when she married Robert Kennedy back in 1950.
So Michael is Ethel Kennedy's nephew?
Nephew.
All right.
Nephew.
And which adds a lot of intrigue to this trial. It's a Kennedy relative, in a sense. Not a blood relative, but a relative.
You're watching Larry King Live. Next, a deeper look at the day's events on Newsnight with Aaron Brown, followed by Crossfire, only on CNN tonight.
At Vilas, we know the value of a good meal. That's why our specials are second to none.
On Monday night, enjoy delicious Cuban cuisine. Buy one meal and get the second one on us.
The fiesta continues Tuesday with a 2-for-1 Mexican feast.
Happy hour at Vilas is a blast. Come join us 11 to 7.
At Vilas, it's about food, family, atmosphere, and value, but the final ingredient is you.
Focus. Creativity. Innovation. It's what changes the world. It's what inspires success. It's what makes an entrepreneurial leader. At the Huizenga School at Nova Southeastern University, you'll learn to anticipate business trends and become an effective leader. Call for details about our weekend and online graduate business programs.
This is CNN.
Dominic Dunn.